Good morning once again. I think we're back on track, and I'm pleased to be able to start off with the first group of presenters for today's Explorers and Developers session. So first off, please help me to welcome Kiran Patankar, President and CEO of Maple Gold Mines. Maple Gold Mines is a Canadian exploration company focused on developing its district-scale gold project in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt of Quebec.
Good morning, bonjour. My name is Kiran Patankar. I'm the President and CEO of Maple Gold Mines. Delighted to be here today to talk to you about our district-scale gold projects here in Quebec. Before I get started, I just want to thank the organizers of this excellent conference. It's been fantastic and always a pleasure to be here in Quebec City. Thank you all for attending. This is just a disclaimer. Forward-looking statements are going to be made. The investment thesis regarding Maple Gold. We're an established 3 million ounce gold resource at Douay and a past producing high-grade gold mining complex at our Jutel mining complex, which was contributed by our joint venture partner. Both of these sit on a significant district-scale land package, which is 400 square kilometers. It's a dominant land position on the Casa Berardi break. The location is fantastic. We're about 2.5 hours north of Rouyn-Noranda by road, located just off the 109 highway, so excellent infrastructure and a deep mining history, of course, in that region. Top-tier mining partner. Can't say enough about Agnico Eagle. We're all familiar with their success in the region over the last couple of years, going way back. We benefit at our size, and given the strategic nature of these projects, there's an incredible level of collaboration between us and our partner, and it's something very rare in the junior space. Again, great infrastructure, and importantly, it's been an interesting year for mining across the board, but particularly for Maple Gold. We've undergone a lot of change, a new management team, and particularly focused objectives. Just to discuss what it is that's so compelling about Maple Gold and our joint venture projects. We're located among the giants of the Abitibi. There are 3 parallel structures in the Abitibi. We're in the one that's in the middle between the Sunday Lake and the Cadillac. What's interesting about where we are is that you've got a splay here in the Casa Berardi deformation zone, which we control the entire land package in between the Casa Berardi North Fault and the Casa Berardi South Fault. So there's some very interesting structural features within our land package. Also some parallels here. We've shown obviously Detour and Malartic. There are some very good analogies both structurally and lithologically. But most importantly, there are splays that are associated with each of those as well. So it's interesting just from a significant standpoint to note where we are spatially. What are we trying to do? We've been drilling these projects since we formed the joint venture with Agnico in 2021. The Douay project had its discovery hole drilled back in the 80s. Well-known projects, but poorly understood, to be fair. That was the real unlocking with this joint venture partnership. The goal was to try to take a project where there's a known gold endowment located along a first-order structure and develop it and add ounces that are economic. So we've gone back and refocused and really looked at the generative pipeline across the entire land package and looked at an approach that really is going to advance greenfield projects into more advanced targets. We've got a wealth of past producing high-grade geology that's at Eagle Tell that has not been explored systematically since the 1990s. And of course, Douay has an existing endowment of 3 million ounces at just over a gram, but lots of resource expansion and discovery drilling potential. Should also say that the resource footprint sits on a postage stamp size of the overall package, and the entire western half of our land position remains largely untested. So lots of blue sky potential We also have a very exciting VMS project located in the Matogami camp called Morris, which we're going to be doing some field work on this summer. Okay, it's never easy to rethink a project, especially one that has the amount of data and has had the amount of people looking at it that Douay and Joutel have. I'm a geologist, I'm a geological engineer by training. I've also got a deep background in capital markets. So I take a multi-phase and multidisciplinary approach to, the results, frankly, with Maple Gold admittedly haven't been there for a while. The share price has underperformed. I was appointed as CEO in August to really turn that around, and I think the board and our partner recognize that I've got the skill set to do so. So what did we do? I mean, I took a systematic approach. We've been quiet on the news front because it took time to systematically evaluate the people, the project, and the partner objectives. We found a lot, right? That process unveils a lot. So lots of turnover, inconsistent logging, the usual stuff that happens when, as I said, I'm an engineer, so I think process drives results. And, it just wasn't there. We've optimized and made a lot more efficient what we're doing at site. And the results, of course, of that is that we've got a much better idea of where to go next. This is simple to put into a slide, but it's difficult to execute. And it's been an 8-month process, but it's bearing a lot of fruit. Again, this is a model. We need to vector towards targets. Douay is a complicated system, an ocean of gold, but nobody has kind of unlocked it yet. And largely, when you have the amount of data that we have, unless you're incorporating all of those elements, the lithology, the structural data, geophysics, geochemistry, and coming up with an approach that actually makes sense to vector towards additional high grade and additional volume of ounces to add, I mean, you're missing the picture. You can't just vector off of grade and assays. And so, we've incorporated this approach to vector and improve our targeting. We've got analogs in the region, extensive, obviously many discussions with luminaries that have done successful exploration in the region. Importantly, out of this is Douay and Eagle Talbell looking at structural alteration, mineralization, and various criteria. It ticks just about every box. This is what we started with, right? We started in August. We were looking at the most known area within the Douay deposit, Douay West. There's a head frame there. A shaft was sunk to about 30 meters. Most of our indicated resource is sitting in this Douay West zone. But as you note, there's no geology on here, right? And you've got data, but you're not really using all the data that's available. So what did we do? I asked the team, we turned over the team, we figured out who was going to be there that could actually, we brought modeling in-house. We brought the database management cleanup, all of that in-house. Got a structural geologist in place as a chief geologist, and then we just started doing hard work. Relogging 100,000 meters of core does not happen overnight. You can see here we're doing things after the relogging process as it's ongoing. We've done level plans through the entire deposit by hand, cross sections, long sections, et cetera, and it's resulted in the identification of new zones that are actually real. It's constrained by geology. It's an empirical approach, and now with that result in place, here's the aftermath of all of that work, is that we've got lithostructural layering, we've got all the layers of data, we can overlay it with grade, and we can figure out which areas remain open for drill targeting. Again, we've got zones that have higher than deposit average grade. Douay West is one of them. It's got double the average deposit grade. We just need to vector to figure out where the open areas are and add more ounces. There's already 500,000 ounce endowment here. If we find more that has a very shallow overburden, this looks like a very good starter pit for mining. Douay 531 zone, you've got intercepts on a deposit that's got an average grade of just over a gram. We had an intercept in 2021 in the JV drill program that was 28 meters of 8.8. It's a spectacular drill hole. We got to go find more, but you're not going to go find more just vectoring off of grade because the rocks are highly altered and it's an interesting and complex system. So structural interpretations. I mean, as you can see here, the Douay intrusive complex is sitting here in blue and purple. It sits right between the fault, but putting some kind of understanding of the movement, there appears to be some dextral movement, strike slip on the Casa Berardi North Fault. You've got this sort of delta, these pressure shadows that exist when you're rotating a big intrusive block, as we believe we are here. Interestingly enough, in these pressure shadows, our working thesis is you're creating some additional porosity where you've got potential for gold emplacement, and those two pressure shadows, interestingly enough, correspond with our Douay West zone and the 531 zone. So these are tools that should have always been used for targeting, which we're just now beginning to incorporate under new management and with a new team, and with the strong support of our partner. Again, geochemistry, right? It's a lot of data that's been gathered in terms of multi-element geochem. As our director and technical advisor and one of my personal mentors, Gerald Riverain, likes to say, you know, all this data doesn't do anything unless it's plotted, right? So what we see here when we actually look at the geochem, you know, you're seeing some interesting things. Most of these zones in green, these represent basalts. And here in the Nika and Douay Northwest zones, you're seeing much more indication of syenite intrusive rocks. You know, what this tells us, it's just used as another way to categorize rocks, look at structure, overlay data, and the geochemistry can be a very effective tool for targeting going forward. So what we've generated and developed with this 8 months worth of effort is a pipeline of targets. Again, it's an ocean of, you know, we've got 3 different styles of mineralization on a single contiguous land package on a first order structure. You've got alkaline porphyry related gold, you've got orogenic overprinting, and you've got a VMS style target and past producing high grade mine complex at Jutel. So we've got a wealth of targets, we know where we're going, and the reason why we know that now with confidence is, and we're going to be ready to drill in the fall and winter, is because we've done the hard work of actually evaluating and reevaluating and rethinking the project. Where are we at in the process? We're about 70% complete. Doesn't mean that we need to do 100% before we start drilling. Some of this work is going to be ongoing, but the core elements of this have been completed, and it's exciting, right? We're ready to go. We're having discussions with our partner actively about which targets we're going to drill first and when that's going to get started. I should also add, you know, I've made some significant improvements with respect to costs. I mean, at the end of the day, all junior mining companies should be fiscally disciplined. Money should be going in the ground. That was not the case with Maple for quite a while. In the last 6 months, you know, with the team's support and effort, and we've gotten the G&A down by over almost 70%. With more reductions to come. So value needs to go into the ground where it's actually going to create value. So that's certainly something, when you look at some of these key elements, you know, where companies seem to be a little bit heavy, we've cut it down to a manageable level. This is the team. We're lean and mean. I wear a lot of hats here, which is great. It's good as a junior company to do that, a junior company CEO. On the management side, between myself, Michael, Josh Pelletier, and Wilma, we do everything. We've got obviously a team in Quebec at site that has done incredible work and helped to build this Rethink program into something that we can hang our hats on. It's great to have an amazing board, right? We couldn't do this without the support of a strong board. Michelle Roth is our chairperson, chair of the audit committee. She's here with me today. She's been with me through the conference, and it's been a wonderful experience working with her. Gerald has got a lot of experience with VMS. I think many of you know him. Maurice is ex-Wheaton Precious Metals. And we've got Paul Harbidge as well as one of our key technical advisors. He's done a lot of rethink and reinterpretation work in the past with Randgold that's been very successful. This technical group has helped me and the team to see the wood for the trees, right? You can easily get lost in all this volume of data. This is our share structure, 340 million shares out at our 6 cent share price today, roughly 20 million market cap. We're trading at about sub $10 an ounce in terms of EV to resource. We've got 2.7 in the bank, 6 million in partner spending remaining through February 1st of 2025. We've got good research coverage. I was instrumental in bringing that in. I've also raised a lot of capital for the company, cleaned up the stock, and some fantastic shareholders. I'm sure some of them are here in the audience today, and we very much value the support of the strong shareholder base that we have, especially while we've been undergoing this major transformation. So just to recap, again, I think as far as asymmetric value opportunities go in the junior mining space, you know, with the partner we have, with the resource endowment that we have, the ocean of exploration potential and blue sky, you know, the leverage of the technical capabilities of both our team and our partners, the cash position, you know, I think we're well situated for, you know, the growth catalysts that are coming in the next 6 months and beyond. And I think it's a very exciting time for us and for shareholders. So we'll look forward to returning some some very interesting news here in the coming weeks and months. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.